What is up, everybody? My name is Anthony. Welcome to another episode of VR 365. Yes, it is Sunday. It is January 5th. That's crazy, man. We're already 5 days into the year 2020. And how many times am I going to say that, like, it's January 6th, 2019, because I'm used to that. Now we are in the year 2020. It's another episode. Of course, if you guys are watching this right now on YouTube, what are you doing? You could have saw this live. You could have been here live when it was actually popping off. But no, you're watching it late on YouTube. But it's good either way. See, we stream live at 11:30 a.m. on Sundays on YouTube, although today that actually didn't happen. Right now, I'm doing it live. It is Sunday. It is January 5th, and it's 3 p.m. I was a little bit delayed today. I did tweet it out, though. I tweeted that out, and I also put a message on my Discord server. So if you happen to tune into Twitch today at 11:30 a.m. and you're like, what's going on? Where's Anthony? This is bullcrap. He said he'd be here at 11:30 on Sundays. He wasn't here. Well, sometimes things are going to happen, man. I mean, I don't like to do that. I really don't. I would like to be on time. I'd like it to be right. I'd like it to be the proper way. But every once in a while, things will pop up. But you know what? There's an easy way to be notified about these things. Follow me on Twitter at VR Game Rankings on Twitter. Or you can go ahead and join the VR 365 Discord server. You could do that. And I make an announcement. Anytime I'm delaying a show, canceling a show, or any major thing, I will make an announcement on the VR 365 Discord server, and I'll also tweet something out. So those are two great ways to make sure that you'll be up to date on what's going on as far as that goes. All right, so let's go ahead and get into today's show. And one of the things I'm going to try to start off with on a regular basis is to thank the sponsor of today's show. And we do have an actual sponsor today. In fact, not only do we have a sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, but we have our first new Patreon supporter since October. The first new Patreon supporter, Zach LaFontaine. Zach LaFontaine, come on down. Yeah, Zach LaFontaine recently joined the Patreon. I really appreciate that, Zach. And Zach is the newest Patreon supporter of VR 365. We've been losing them in droves. Yes, they're dropping like flies. I don't know what's going on. I don't believe I have the cooties, but we've been losing Patreon supporters in a major way. So it's really nice to actually get one back. Zach LaFontaine is joining the Patreon. I absolutely appreciate that. Thank you so much, Zach. Okay, another thing I want to try to do on a very regular basis is to thank any PayPal donators since the last episode. Okay, so anybody that has donated via PayPal since the last episode. Now, I checked it earlier today, and I haven't seen any donations since the last episode. So in lieu of that, I will go ahead and thank the last PayPal donator that donated $20 or more, and that is Christian Olson. Christian Olson, thank you so much for your $20 donation. That was incredible. That was a little while back. But what I'll try to do is every episode, I want to try to thank any new Patreon supporters, any recent PayPal donations. I want to try to do a better job of that. I've got to do a better job of that. So anyway, that does take care of that. All right, well, let's get into the first story of the day. And you know what I got to talk about, guys, to start things off? Oh, man, I forgot 720p. So I'm going to have to deal with this a little bit here on these videos. Totally forgot about this since the last episode. But here's the thing. We're going to do some Game of the Year discussion today. The slowly but surely Game of the Year discussion. We're definitely going to do that. That's a big part of this program. And in fact, it's why this episode got delayed a little bit today as I was still working on my montages, but the montages are done. I have my game of the month for June 2019. I have my runner-up game. So we're going to get into that. And, we're slowly working our way through 2019. There's no rush. Think about this, folks. When is the Academy Awards? Isn't the Academy Awards in March? And they're celebrating everything that happened in 2019. See, they don't have a rush to judgment. Neither do I. So we're going to take a little bit of a sweet time doing that. But we're also going to cover a handful of news topics. We've got some legit news topics today, and we're going to cover that as well. But first, I did want to talk about big screen. So the last time that I did an episode, I believe it was Thursday on YouTube, and one of the major topics I had was big screen, and I kind of got really dumb with it. I kind of got a little bit stupid with it and was like, resolution isn't there, man. And kind of was ranting and raving about something that, I know I tried this a long time ago, but I don't really remember it. And so it kind of made sense, I should maybe hop into big screen, right? Maybe try it, maybe give it a sample, give it a little bit of taste. And that's what a lot of people were telling me in chat. Dude, Anthony, just go in there. They got some trailers that are running on a screen. You can get an idea of what it looks like. You can get an idea of the feeling for it. And so I did do that. I went into big screen, and you know what? It is kind of cool. It's actually kind of cool. I did appreciate it, and I'll tell you why I appreciate it. I appreciate the social aspect. There's some people in there. Luckily, I didn't have like weirdos that were like really annoying, but I know that can be a problem, just like it is in Rec Room and any of these other social spaces. You get somebody that's a griefer or a goofball. And there were some brand new people. I could hear that there were some brand new people in VR. They didn't really know what they were doing. And they were yelling at somebody else like, so how do I find a movie in here? What do I press on? I can't see it. Oh, there's a trailer. I think that's a trailer. So you have some people like that. You have some noobs. And you might have a few annoying people as well. But I actually had a really cool scenario when I tried it. Everybody was really kind of relaxed and cool. And I was talking to this one dude, and we actually had a pretty in-depth conversation for a quick minute. That was cool. Now, here's the thing. I still have some complaints about this, ladies and gentlemen, because, okay, yeah, you can go into big screen and they are running a trailer that is just constantly running. And a lot of it is 3D. Like they do Ghost in the Shell. There's a couple of different movies that they're showing on the screen. Ghost in the Shell, Star Trek Beyond, and a number of these movies are 3D, and you actually see the 3D effects. And you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then also you can teleport around the room. And so the big screen is there. You're teleporting around the room. And one of the cool aspects of it is basically turning off to the side and kind of seeing the screen from these different angles. And it makes it feel a little more real, like you're really in a place. The screen is there because like you're moving over here. Now you're looking at the screen from this slightly off tilt angle. And so it does have that. And that was really cool. It was cool to socialize with other people. That was cool. Here's my complaint though. And this is directly to big screen, to the people there. Here's what you guys should really do, okay? So I still don't feel like I've gotten a sample. Like I have not gotten a sample of what this is because there's no volume. So when you get there and you're in that little room, there's no volume. So you can't hear the volume. And if there's no volume to the movie, the trailers that are on the screen, then you're not really getting kind of a legitimate sample of kind of how it feels. Also, here's what I think they should do. You know how you have your private rooms that you can go to. You can go to your private room and you can switch it to all these different types of interiors. A retro theater, a modern theater, like a home theater, all these different we're seeing a lot of the samples in there. And Gaming Science Teacher says, there's no sound on the trailers? Are you sure you didn't have it accidentally muted? unless it defaults that way, I couldn't hear anything at all. I did not hear any sound. I heard sound of people talking. Now, this was just in the lobby. I didn't actually like buy a movie, so I haven't bought anything. I'm just trying to go in there and I'm trying to get a sample. I'm trying to get a taste. And what they should do now, maybe it's simple. Maybe I just needed to go into my menu and unmute it. I didn't see that. I didn't notice that. If that's the case, then that's on me. That's my fault. But it was muted. I was just in a lobby. There were people talking and it was up on the screen. But here's what I would like to be able to do, and I think this should be a thing, is like you should be able to go into your private room and you should be able to just watch a trailer. Just watch like a single trailer, like the trailer of A Ghost in a Shell 3D. Just let me watch that trailer from beginning to end with sound in my little private room just to get a little sampler. And I didn't get that. Now, maybe I did something wrong or whatever, but that didn't happen for me. So I was in the lobby. Then I went into my private room. When I went into my private room, I did have access to like my computer screen, and I hopped onto YouTube and I was watching some little YouTube videos like while I was in these different theaters to try to get a look at it. And it was pretty cool. Now, again, let's go back to the resolution really quick. So the resolution is passable. It's passable. This is what I'll say. I'll say that it was better than I thought it was. That's what I'll say. Is like when I first saw it, it was better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be worse. It was better. And when I first got in there, I was like, wow, this is really good. They actually did a really good job. This looks really clean, pretty crisp. I could kind of deal with this. Now, the longer that I was in there and I looked at it more and the initial wow factor kind of wore off a little bit, I did start to see, I started to see like screen door effect and stuff like that. And I again started to think, yeah, bite your hand like that. Because here's the thing, man, I'm the type of guy. So there's people that don't really care that much about picture quality and audio quality. Like they could watch a DVD and they don't see a difference between a DVD and a Blu-ray or whether it's streaming or whatever. There's lots of people like that. I'm not one of those guys. If there's a movie that I'm really into, for example, like Interstellar, like a really good movie, and I want to watch it the proper way, I actually want to have the Blu-ray. Like, I don't want to watch a stream that might not be perfect in quality and the sound might be a little jacked every now and then. No, I kind of want it clean and crisp. So for me, the resolution, it still isn't there for me where I would literally want to buy a movie and actually sit down and watch it. So I'm partly making an apology about what I said about big screen, but I'm partly not. That's where I was. I was in that lobby and, talking to some people there. And then I went into my private room. And, but what did I want to say here? Basically, yeah. So I'm not going to pay money for this until I have a much higher resolution headset. And it's got to be basically double what I experienced probably for me to want to pay a movie. Now, that's me personally. Now, if I could bounce into a movie for like 5 minutes and just check it out real quick and then bounce out, that's a whole different ballgame. The other thing I'll say too is these headsets and stuff. No, Gangster Wubo says, you never tried a paid movie yet? No, I have never. VR Spry Guy says, remember, this is coming from a guy who is literally standing in a home theater. Literally, yeah, you can see my screen back there, actually. With this Twitch setup and the way I moved it, you can see my screen. And check this out, guys. I had a screen that is super wide. It's not even 16 by 9. It's way wider than that. Because I can watch the original Star Wars. I don't have a projector right now, and I don't have a Blu-ray player in here and all that, but if I had it all and did it the right way, I could watch the original Star Wars on this screen perfect. I mean, super wide, no black bars anywhere. You can't see them because they would splash onto everything that's black over there, and it disappears. I used to be a home theater nut, so yeah, I am that guy. Now, Hussein X says, did you apply super sampling? No, I didn't. I didn't apply super sampling. I'll admit that. And then Gangster Wumbo says trailers sucked compared to the paid ones. I actually heard the opposite from somebody. I heard the exact opposite of that from somebody, where the trailers actually made it look better than it really was, and then they paid for it, and they were disappointed that the trailer wasn't quite as good as, or the real movie they saw wasn't quite as good as the trailer. But let's relax here. Look, let's relax. Let's calm down. Let's chill out. Let's think about this for a second. Another aspect I want to talk about is I tried this in my Valve Index, and glare, dude, glare is a factor, ladies and gentlemen. Glare is a factor. I'm looking forward to, to CES 2020. It begins this Tuesday. MRTV is already there. Alex VR. Alex VR is the name I forgot about. So sorry, Alex VR. The other day I was like, there's 2 YouTubers that are going to be in Vegas that I know of. There's MRTV, there's Alex VR, and other people are going to be there as well. But I really hope that there is a better headset there. 2880 by 2880 for each eye. Because you know what? I'm in my Valve Index. The glare, like I'm looking at everything, and the glare kind of annoyed me a little bit. And then also just as you're looking around, there's the whole lens, you kind of get this like lens effect. I don't feel like I can just sit down and enjoy a movie. You guys that really do buy these movies and you sit down and enjoy a movies, didn't go into the trailer theater. No, I was in the lobby. I didn't see a trailer theater. So maybe that's my problem. I was in the lobby, and then I was in like my private room. I didn't see a trailer theater. So I probably need to go into the trailer theater. So maybe I made a terrible mistake there. But anyway, my point still stands for the most part. Okay, I'll go back in and I will try to find this trailer theater. I didn't find it the first time I was there. But I don't know, man. The bottom line is this. I cannot see myself spending 2 hours watching a movie with our current VR headsets. Despite how much better it seemed to me, maybe I could do like 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I can't do no 2-hour movie. Not with these headsets, not with this resolution. But you know what? Maybe we'll be talking about big screen again, because you know what? I'll go back in there. I will find the trailer theater and I will check that out. So yeah, not a very good job on my part with trailers, but oh well, I tried. Pixel-Ripped 1989 has not been approved for the Oculus Quest. That the game is basically done, that it's running well. They've gotten it up and running. It's working great. It works great on the Oculus Quest, but they don't know if they're ever going to be able to, if anybody's ever going to play it. I think she mentioned, I'm playing Pixel-Ripped 1989 on the Oculus Quest, but I don't know if anybody else is going to be able to play Pixel-Ripped 1989 on the Oculus Quest. How incredibly terrible is this, ladies and gentlemen? This simply is not fair. This is just bad form. Oculus, what is going on over there? Seriously, though, we really need to tweet some people out there. We need to get this message out. First, it started with, it started with To the Top. We had problems with To the Top. Now we're having problems with Pixel-Ripped 1989. There's a lot of other games that we're having problems with. Now I'm going to look up VR game rankings on Twitter. I'm going to see if I can find my own damn Twitter thing, because I actually tweeted at somebody that might be in charge. Okay, so this is what I tweeted out earlier today. Go ahead and retweet this, like this, do whatever you can. Now, Cymatic Bruce, I don't know for sure that this is the guy that is in charge of Oculus Quest curation, but here's the thing. If this guy isn't in charge of Oculus Quest curation, he probably knows who is. He probably works with the person who is in charge of this. And so what I tweeted at, I was at Cymatic Bruce. Hey, Not sure if you're in charge of Oculus Quest curation or not, but if you are, what's your deal, bro? LOL. Seriously, though, Pixel 1989 not coming to the Quest is a travesty. Same thing with To the Top. Okay, and so look, this Somatic Bruce guy, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to be a pain in the ass. I'm not trying to be a DIC, you know what. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but seriously, if this guy is in charge, I'm wondering how much does this guy know about VR gaming? Like, I'm going to be real for a second here. Like, I kind of apologize, but I kind of don't. Because if you're in charge of Oculus Quest curation, you should know more about VR gaming than I do, okay? If it's your job, you should really know more about VR gaming than I know about VR gaming, okay? And if you don't approve To the Top or Pixel 1989, you sure as hell don't know more than I know, because these are two of the best VR games ever. These are two of the best VR games ever. This is not debatable. Both of these games are in the top 100 best VR games at VR Game Rankings. These games are in the top 60. They're both in the top 60. These are not crappy games. Pixel 1989 is a freaking banger of a game. To the Top is a banger of the game. Now, here's the thing about To the Top. I do want to say this about To the Top. I understand there could be a motion sickness concern. I understand there could be a poisoning the well concern. I understand that. I understand that, you know, maybe with To the Top, this is what I would say with To the Top, okay? I would talk to Electric Hat Games, and I would say, look, guys, here's the situation. Your game is fantastic, but right now, we don't want this type of game on our platform right now. However, later next year, we will absolutely approve this title. So just be patient. Just be patient. There's so many new VR players right now. We want to be a bit patient. We don't want these games that are a bit more where you need to have your VR sea legs. So hold off a bit. I could understand that for To the Top. And maybe that's what's going on. That should be what's going on. Oculus should have talked to Electric Hat Games and said, look, just chill. We're going to get your game To the Top on the Quest a little bit later next year. Okay? A lot of new people. Let's wait. Now, Pixel 1989, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. There is no proper excuse for this. You're going to let people buy Pixel 1995, but you're not going to let them buy the game that came before it? Okay, and then another aspect of this, so Gaming Science Teacher, she did a thread on the Oculus Quest subreddit, basically revealing this situation, that there's a very good chance we might not get Pixel 1989 on the Quest. She did a thread about that. Within that thread, there was so much misinformation. Everybody that came into that thread was talking about, oh, it requires a gamepad. That's why it's not coming to the Oculus Quest. It requires a gamepad. Duh. I just wanted to strangle some of these people. I really did. Because so many people came into that thread, immediately saw that reply that it requires a controller, and was like, oh, okay, that's why. Of course. So I guess Oculus Quest Defense Force, they're activated. They have been activated. They've charged up. They've been powered up, and they are in full and total effect. But here's the thing, you don't need an effing gamepad. Do you know how many people have a Rift S or a CB1 that have played Pixel 1989 with their touch controllers? Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people have played Pixel 1989 with their Touch 1 and Touch 2 controllers. There's no problem here. Pixel 1989 would work absolutely fine on the Oculus Quest. There's no problem here. So anyway, that's my thought process on all of this. Am I a little bit out of control? right now, am I a little bit triggered? I am. I'm a little bit triggered because this bothers me, man. It bothers me. And I will say to Cymatic Bruce, look, I don't know this person at all. I don't know this person at all. Number one, might not have nothing to do with Oculus Quest curation. Number one. Number two, maybe this person does have something to do with Oculus Quest curation, and this person might know all about Pixel 1989 and know all about To the Top, but might be in a situation where higher up execs have said no, there's certain games. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm not trying to say everybody get your pitchforks out. Let's go after this Cymatic Bruce. Let's make him the scapegoat. I'm not saying that. But somebody needs to fix this. That is the God's honest truth. Somebody needs to fix this. Somebody needs to fix this problem. It is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, that is the story there on Pixel 1989. Yes, I'm a bit passionate about it. I'm a bit pissed off about it. It is what it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on, folks. Let's get into what I like to call extended Game of the Year discussion, deep dive styly, baby. That's what we do here. Not a quick, oh, my Game of the Year is blank. No, we don't do that. We take our time, ladies and gentlemen. We're going through every month painstakingly. Is it taking forever? It sure as hell is. It is taking forever. And now we are on the month of June. We're on the month of June. So here's what I did, guys. I looked at the best games of the month of June. And you know what? I've isolated 14 games. They're not all great, but I've isolated 14 games that should be maybe considered, 14 games that we should give a little bit of a shout out to for their arrival in the month of June 2019. And I've created 2 different montages. I broke them up into 2, so 7 games in one, 7 games in the other, probably, something like that. And why don't we go ahead and check that out? Let's go ahead and check out montage number 1. Now, there is one thing I want to say, though, before I start this video up. One thing I want to say, you might see a game that's like, that game's from many years ago. Okay, remember, the Oculus Quest, we've got a lot of games that are coming to the Oculus Quest, and you might see some games that were in last month's Game of the Month situation, but this month, they might be on the Oculus Rift, where last month they were Quest only. So if you see some things, just go ahead and chill. Just relax and chill. Netflix and chill, baby. Just chill, watch the trailer. I'll be back with a list. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all 14 of these games. Yes, this is going to be kind of a long show probably, because I still got other news topics to get to even after all of this. I want to talk about the violence question, the Medal of Honor thing, and also a little bit about Saints and Sinners. Nathy and Virtual Reality Oasis both recently did videos that kind of show off the violence. So we're going to get into that very soon. But right now it's Game of the Year time, and we're going to get to the very first montage for June 2019. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pump up the volume on Pixel 1995, and then we're going to see the first montage. So let's go ahead and check that out.
Hear that? The walls are breathing, man. What is this place? A place made of experience. What are we doing here? The doctor said, collect the fragments, untangle the memory, gather the memories, create the book. For Charlotte.
We have an emergency. Victoria Or Conrad has fled. We're after her now. Victoria is the culprit. She's armed and dangerous. Arm yourself, soldiers. I repeat, Victoria is the culprit.
I cannot give up. Hey, thief. There's a way to survive and make money. You interested?
If you give me double, no triple, the amount of money you've promised.
Want a divorce too, and you're keeping the kids because you don't respect me. You push me, and you push me.
We are the abstainers.
Oh, that's what the abstainers look like?
Why can't you just expect that I don't want to rotate my chair? I don't want to be jiggling around.
They look just like the guy who's got the dogs in his eyes causing all this trouble.
Shut the up, Trover. No one needs to hear your commentary about everything.
I'm gonna eat some piss, drink some piss.
Lots of fun awaits you, wizard.
All right, well, that is the best VR games of June 2019, but that is only part one. We're breaking it up into two different pieces because I didn't want to run a 10-minute trailer for you guys. I didn't think you'd probably appreciate that, and so I thought it'd be better if we could break these down. Now, here's the thing. A lot of these games, I mean, let's face it, very many of these games are not going to win June 2019. They're not going to win Game of the Month. They're not going to win Game of the Year. June is not that great. But what I do want to do is I just want to throw a little bit of love to all of the major releases that did come out in this month, the ones that can be considered for pretty solid games. Okay, so we started off with Zed on June 4th, and I gotta take a little bit of heat here because I was one of these people that was really hyping up Zed for a long time. I thought Zed was going to be really cool. I thought it was going to be really exciting. And I just thought it was going to be like one of these really cool things. What I didn't know for the longest time, I didn't know that it was really like a flat game that just kind of had a VR mode. And I didn't know, like, I thought it was really a VR game. I've played Zed. It's not terrible. It's pretty much kind of a walking simulator, really. It's not absolutely awful. There's some good art and stuff, but definitely a disappointment, certainly. Rogan, The Thief in the Castle, another one. This is another one that I hyped up for the longest time. I've never played Rogan. I don't know if it's any good, but I remember when it came out, a lot of people were very, they're like, Rogan's not that great. It's expensive. Now, it is one of these games, though. Rogan is one of these games where it's like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because there is some good aspects to Rogan. Some people do like Rogan, but it was not the game that we thought it was going to be. Okay, Trover Saves the Universe. Obviously, this actually released last month, but that was on PlayStation VR. It was exclusive on May 31st on PlayStation VR, but on June 4th, Trover has now arrived to all the PC VR platforms. So it is part of this month now that it is arrived on PC VR platforms. Okay, Electronauts arrived on June 6th to the Oculus Quest. In chat, we have a couple of people talking a little bit of smack about Electronauts. Gaming science teacher talking major trash. No, I'm just kidding. But here's what she had to say. I wasn't impressed with Electronauts, LOL. Impulse buy on sale. You try to make a melody and it delays you. Ugh. And then VR Spry Guy says, Electronauts was fun for about 5 minutes. So yeah, a lot of people not super hyped on Electronauts. And you know what I will say about Electronauts? Like, I enjoyed Electronauts when I originally played it. I did get a key for it, so I mean, there is that. But I did enjoy it. But the thing about Electronauts that doesn't really work for the Oculus Quest as much, in my opinion. See, I think Electronauts is a great party game. And I think it's a great party game if you hook your computer up to like some big ass speakers. Like, see those big ass speakers back there? If you route you route your stereo, you connect your computer to your stereo, and you have some loud speakers that are pumping the place, right? And then you have people putting the headset on and kind of being a DJ, and you have other people there that are, chilling out and just kind of lounging. I think it could actually be super fun. Like, people would get in, they're like, oh, it's my turn to be a DJ. Now I'm doing this stuff and I'm mixing it. And then you'd also have it on a screen so people could see it on the screen. They could see kind of what they're doing. But with the Oculus Quest, none of that works really. You can't really, let's be honest. Casting is a joke. Casting is a joke. I don't know which is the biggest problem with the Oculus Quest, comfort or casting. They're both incredible problems for the Oculus Quest, and they better solve this shit for Quest 2. I'm not even playing around, man. The casting is a problem. How many times, I could go on an entire rant just on this, but how many times have you been on the Oculus Quest subreddit and somebody's been like, I've tried to cast, but it doesn't work. The sound doesn't work. The video's all jacked up. It's all delayed. It's making my game slow down. Dude, casting is an effing disaster. We've got to figure this out, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Cymatic Bruce. Figure that out as well, okay? You've got a couple things to do, Cymatic. All right, so that's Electronauts on June 6th. Swords of Gargantua basically hit all the major platforms on June 6th. It hit the PC VR platforms. It also arrived on Quest. I gotta tell you, this is another game I don't know diddly. I don't know diddly. I want to do a show, actually, I really want to do a show. VR Spry Guy says, do you have a Dayton audio subwoofer back there? No, it's Energy. You know the Canadian company Energy? It's an Energy subwoofer. But anyway, what was I saying here? We're talking, Swords of Gargantua. I kind of want to do a show one day where I talk about the highest rated games that I've never played. Like, I could do like the top 30 games that Anthony has never freaking played. And Swords of Gargantua, I mean, it probably wouldn't be in the top 30, but it's one of them. Like, I've never played Rogan. I've never played Swords of Gargantua. I got to tell you, I've never been excited to play it. I've heard some mixed things about it. Some people really like it. I don't know. Now, if it's available on, say, Viveport, you know, that's the beauty of Viveport. If Swords of Gargantua is available on Viveport, maybe I'd try it out over there. All right. Okay, the next one on our list, The Wizards. You might say, dude, The Wizards has been around forever. Why is it on this list? Well, it is a brand new release for the Oculus Quest in the month of June. It arrived on June 6th, and I got to tell you, I have not played The Wizards on the Quest, but I did play The Wizards on PlayStation VR, and I thought it was pretty darn good. And I can see The Wizards being pretty good on Quest as well, but I haven't actually played it. And then we have Drive, which arrived on June 7th, another racing game. This was a game that I was tracking as an upcoming game that was going to be also having some VR support. Haven't really heard anything about it, don't really know much about it. It might be a total dud, but I just wanted to mention that one as well. Okay, so anyway, that is our first group of games from June 2019. We've got another group, so let's go ahead and check out our next montage of bangers in the month of June, or maybe not bangers, but, you know, decent games in the month of June. Okay, and here's my next montage. Oh, wait, actually, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I forgot. I'm going to go ahead and turn up the volume on this. We're going to switch to full screen, and then I'll go ahead and grab the trailer. So I'll see you guys in just a second.
Hey human, be fast! What good are hands if you can't catch? Oh, it's my team
Hey human, don't you want to see the rest of Vacation Island?
Tastes like
time off.
Play better than you and look better than you.
Fighting talk.
Okay, move.
Okay, folks. Prepare to
There you go. Take that.
Whatever, guys.
No, what are you doing?
Now what's this? No. No way. Oh, we did it, buddy. Yes.
Definitely down for a reason.
Friends.
'Cause you forever. 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 'Cause you forever
In a moment, the Lord of this monolith will give you a task, a word of advice. Do not anger Vader.
Now that Vader's found you, he's in reach of enormous power. You must escape.
Grab my hand!
Oops, in the wrong spot here. Okay, so yeah, that is the best VR games of June 2019. That is part 2. That is the second montage of it. And let me go ahead and grab our list, our breakdown for these games. And so yeah, on June 18th, we had another roster of games arrive. It started with Vacation Simulator, which arrived to PlayStation VR. It had never been on PlayStation VR. That's when it first arrived. Of course, Vacation Simulator did arrive in April for PC VR platforms, and then in December for the Oculus Quest. But in June, it was all about PlayStation VR version of the game. Journey of the Gods. We had that one last month. In fact, it was our runner-up game of the month, and it almost knocked off Blood and Truth for Game of the Month, and I'm not even joking about that. But why is Journey of the Gods on the list again, folks? It's on the list because on June 18th, it arrived for the Oculus Rift, okay? Now, Mini Mech Mayhem was an exclusive game for PlayStation VR that did arrive on June 18th. Looks very colorful, very bright and joyous. I have never played that one. Face Your Fears 2. Here's another one. It was on Quest last month, but now on June 20th, it arrived on the Oculus Rift. So everybody with a Rift could also now play the new version of Face Your Fears. Vader Immortal. Now you guys want to talk about a show where Anthony went absolute nut job. It was June 20th. Probably, or unless it was announced like a day or so before that. But if it just came out of the blue on June 20th, like I came home from work and I found out Vader Immortal was available on the Rift, I went nuts. Seriously, you guys got to watch that old episode I went nuts about this because I felt violated, man. I seriously felt violated because I like exclusives. I know it's kind of weird and crazy, but like if I have a video game platform, I want exclusives. I want the platform to have a soul, man. Just in chat, somebody was mentioning that Vacation Simulator doesn't have a soul. It's something that I've said, and it's, man, that is a harsh criticism. And it's not that bad. It's a good game, but it doesn't have a soul. That is true. It doesn't have a soul. But Vader Immortal, bro. Like when that came to the Rift, it bothered me because the Quest, in my opinion, it's back there, my Oculus Quest. I believe it's a video game console, man. I believe it's a little video game device. And I believe it should have exclusives. But anyway, Vader Immortal did come to the Rift. Primetime banger. A primetime banger, of course. Especially because, you're talking better graphics, better sound, being able to play it in the CV1. The experience was actually really good on the Oculus Quest, but it was improved. It was improved pretty darn well on your Rift S or your CV1 Vader Immortal Episode 1 that was June 20th. Okay, then we get a handful of Oculus Quest games that arrived as well. Richie's Plank Experience. This game has been around the block a few times, but it was brand new on the Oculus Quest platform back on June 27th, and a lot of people really love this particular Oculus Quest game. It gets a lot of pretty good ratings and reviews from people. They really like Richie's Plank Experience on the Oculus Quest. Sirento. Yeah, so I know how to pronounce it now. Let's all sigh. Let's all have a sigh of relief. It's Sirento, bro. Sirento VR Untethered. It arrived on the Oculus Quest June 27th. I have not played Sirento, haven't played Richie's either. I've heard good things about Sirento on the Quest. I heard that it is fast and furious, that it is good arcade quality action. I believe Shantomio really liked this when he got it on the Quest. I think, if I'm not mistaken there. By the way, where the hell has Shantomio been? I have not seen Shantomio. Wherefore art thou, Shantomio? But Sirento VR Untethered did arrive on June 27th, and a lot of good reviews. A lot of people really like that. In fact, Slayblaze in chat says Sirento Quest is solid. It is solid. And okay, let's see. Fuji on June 27th. Oh, and Gaming Science Teacher, I didn't understand what she was talking about here, but she says, Anthony, you wouldn't stop talking about that face, LOL. What face? Which face are you talking about? Anyway, but going on to Fuji, Fuji arrived on June 27th and pretty much arrived on everything except for PlayStation VR. Fuji actually just arrived on PlayStation VR, I believe, in the month of December. So very recently just hitting PlayStation VR. But back in the month of June, it did hit all the PC VR platforms. It did hit Oculus Quest. I kind of like the look of Fuji. I like the chill. Like, I'm kind of into games that are kind of chill and just kind of relax and chill. And you're like playing with little flowers and little ding, ding, ding. Little nice little noises, and it's all, it's kind of like comforting, I can kind of see that. I've never played Fuji, but I'll tell you this. If I ever finally sign up to Viveport, which I should have done a million times already and still haven't done, but if I finally do it, I will play Fuji. I absolutely will play Fuji. It's one. Oh, Face was episode 1. Okay, episode 1. Oh, which Face? Oh, you mean like how they don't... A Face Invader Immortal may not have been episode 1 though. Okay, I don't remember what that's about. But anyways, yeah, so Fuji arrived on June 27th. And so those are all the games of June. So, do we have a real standout contender in the month of June? That's the question. So right now, the thing that I want to know, folks, is what do you think? Oh, the block face. Yeah, okay, now I know what you guys are talking about. Yeah, no, that wasn't episode 1. That was episode 2. Episode 2, baby. So we got to wait for the face. The face is on episode 2. I didn't know what the heck you guys were talking about. You guys have me so off the money on that. But no, the face was Vader Immortal Episode 2. This is not Episode 2. Episode 2 came a lot later, remember? OC6. Episode 2 was like late September. This is Vader Immortal Episode 1 arriving on the Rift, and the Rift and the Rift S and the CV1 on June 20th. Vader Immortal Episode 2, that was late September. Okay, so what am I going to pick for Game of the Month? Like, is there one that really jumps out there and really stands out among the crowd? You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that there's an obvious pick this month. Yeah, don't worry about it, Gaming Science Teacher. No big deal. But here's what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my Game of the Month. So this is my Game of the Month for June 2019. And it is Trover Saves the Universe. Yes, Trover did not win last month. Last month, it arrived on PlayStation VR on the final day of May. It was up there. It was in consideration. I think Trover is one of the better VR games of the entire year. It's a very good game. It does some very interesting things. Now, the really interesting things that it doesn't really have much to do with VR, but it was really enjoyable in VR, and it arrived in VR, and it is my Game of the Month for June 2019. Now, really quick before I get on to my runner-up prediction, let me talk about Trover for a quick second. So let me go ahead and grab a Trover trailer real quick to throw that in the background while I talk about Trover a little bit here. And so I'll just go ahead and throw this on in the background here. And so what was it about Trover that really did it for me? Why would I give Trover Game of the Month this month? And you know what it really was, folks? It was the way the dialogue was handled. I don't know that I've ever played a video game in my entire life that had so much dialogue that was crystal clear, had great production value, and the dialogue immediately played when it needed to play and didn't play when it wasn't supposed to play. I mean, this was a freaking technical achievement. This game should win some kind of Academy Award for sound design, because I have not experienced another game that has done this. Now, I've experienced games that have great dialogue and tons of dialogue, but a lot of times the dialogue will start 10 seconds late, or it'll start early, or it'll, there will be some kind of, it'll be kind of screwed up, and you'll be like, oh, I hear this over and over and over again. Trover did such a great job of how the dialogue would come in at the right moment. It would leave at the right moment. It works so well. I thought it was really fantastic from that standpoint. The gameplay from a VR standpoint, this is a game you're going to play seated in your chair. You're going to be swiveling around a little bit. The nice thing about it is it was kind of smart to do this whole chairopian thing. And so you're kind of like way up in the air and you're looking down and you're kind of in your chair. And so you're kind of matched up with your chair. That worked out pretty good. The platforming was fun and enjoyable. The characters were very hilarious. And just the dialogue, I mean, everything that was, the comedy was off the chain. It was great. The comedy was incredible. Now, you have to be one of these people, though, that you can deal with all kinds of F-bombs and all kinds of bombs, just constant MFers and all this stuff. Like, if you don't like a lot of cuss words, you're probably not going to like Trover Saves the Universe. But I thought it was a really good game. I played quite a bit of it, didn't completely finish it though, which is kind of the story of my life there. But yeah, Trover is my Game of the Month for June 2019. Okay, now what is the runner-up? Now I got to tell you, I have my runner-up, and then there's a true runner-up, but I'm going to give you the official runner-up. I'm going to give you my official runner-up for Game of the Month for June 2019. Let me find my official runner-up. This is the one that's going to go in the books, folks. My official runner-up, Vader Immortal Episode 1, the Oculus Rift version that did arrive in June 2019, because you might remember last month, Vader Immortal Episode 1 for the Oculus Quest, it was in the mix, but it didn't win. My game of the month was Blood and Truth for PlayStation VR. My runner-up was Journey of the Gods. My runner-up was Journey of the Gods. So Vader Immortal didn't win, but it did win this month. It won as runner-up, so it's in the mix, and Trover was game of the month. But my true runner-up, to be completely honest, if I'm being completely honest, my true runner-up is actually Journey of the Gods for the Rift. It's Journey of the Gods for the Rift. In fact, I was like, Trover, Journey of the Gods, Trover, Journey of the Gods. And then, you know, that's part of it. I mean, part of it is the fact that Journey of the Gods was the runner-up game last month, so it's already in the mix. It's already in the mix. I don't need to vote for it twice, but I just want to let you guys know, dude, Journey of the Gods, underrated. Oh my God, I should have like a top 5 most underrated of 2019. I'm sure it would rank. But yeah, Vader Immortal is up in the building. Absolutely. Okay, so those are my picks for the month of June 2019. What was it? We had Trover Saves the Universe and Vader Immortal are both getting in. So we're halfway through now. We're halfway through. We still got July, August, September. We still got October, November, December. So we still have a lot more months to go through. Look, I know it's already January 5th. My guarantee to you guys, we're going to get this done before February, all right? We'll get this done before February. Okay, so I do have another story that I did want to go to, and this requires us to go to the Webinal. So let's go ahead and bounce over to our Webinator. And so there was a story that I saw. This is a story right here, and the title is Respawn wants to be very wary of realistic violence in Medal of Honor VR. Yeah, so did you guys hear about this? One of the biggest games, one of our most anticipated games of this year, 2020, is without question, it is Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor, what is it called again? The full name, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, coming exclusively to the Rift S and the Oculus Rift some point this year. I believe probably a fourth quarter release. But this is like one of the 5 biggest games of the year, as far as I know. You know, unless a lot of stuff comes out of the woodwork, this is one of the 5 biggest games of the year. And I actually played this game. I've played this game. I've been lucky enough to actually get some hands-on time with this game at Oculus Connect 6. I waited in an incredibly long line and actually got in there. But that's the question that's going on here. It's about violence. And let me go ahead and read one of the quotes that on here. One of these quotes. Okay. Speaking in the past, Respawn has mentioned their desire to be authentic, but not necessarily realistic. Okay. And then this is a quote, I believe, from Vince Zampella. As fidelity gets better and better and VR gets more immersive, you kind of feel like you're there. Duh. Duh. That translates to, am I harming another more realistic looking human? Yeah, that's what I always say. You know, when I'm in Boneworks and I'm taking a brick and I'm bashing the shit out of a nobody, I'm like, am I harming another slightly realistic nobody? Sure, I am. But basically, yeah. So he says, that's something we're going to have to be very wary of, okay? When you know the setting is life and death, and it's a historical thing, while you may be causing harm to virtual humans, you're doing it for the good of other virtual humans. In that simulation, it's something that was valuable to the world. Okay, that's a weird statement there. In that simulation, it's something that was valuable to the world? Eh? What are you talking about? But this is an interesting topic. This really is an interesting topic because you know what, folks? I've been wondering about this situation. I really have, because we are in a weird scenario here with VR. Now, I don't believe we're there yet. So I think they're kind of worrying about something that they probably don't need to worry about, because I don't think we're there. I don't think the resolution of these headsets are there. I don't think the field of view is there. Our full body tracking isn't there. Our inverse kinematic, there's a lot of stuff that isn't quite there yet. The characters that we're looking at, what we're, the things that we're interacting with, I don't think it's quite there yet. But I'll say this, unlike other people out there believe that you can never do wrong in this category, that you can make it look as realistic as you want. You can make the guts and the blood look as realistic as possible, and it's no big deal. It's just make-believe, man. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think there will be a tipping point. I really do. I think there legitimately will be a tipping point where this shit will be too real. It'll cause like serious problems like PTSD and shit. I know it sounds crazy, but let's fast forward 10 years, folks. Fast forward 10 years. Imagine the headsets. Imagine the photorealism. Imagine our bodies really being in the VR game. There have been times, I've been in a number of VR games, folks. I really have. I've been in a number of VR games where I've snuck up behind somebody and like shot them in the head or stabbed them or something. And it's a little weird. It's a little bit weird when you sneak up, because here's the thing, these bodies that you're looking at, these people, these virtual characters that you're looking at, they're occupying space, their shoulders, their upper torso. It feels like, you have to walk around them. It feels like they're occupying space. You sneak up on them and it's like, brrr. One thing I noticed this in was freaking Blood and Truth, our game of the month last month. Blood and Truth. How many times in Blood and Truth did you have a submachine gun and you're like, brrr, at hella close range, like the dude's like 5 feet away and you're machine gunning the living crap out of him? Now, I can joke about a lot of this stuff. But I do believe there will be a tipping point. Now, I don't think we're there yet. I think we've got probably at least 5 years to go before we get there. And I don't know how this is going to be handled. I don't know how this is going to be legislated. I don't know how this is going to work from a violent standpoint, but I do believe this is an actual real topic here. I believe this is something to actually care about. Now, I am a little bit concerned, though, because this game, Medal of Honor, like, they really shouldn't be trying to dial down the realism, because we're not there yet, man. Don't be trying to dial down the realism when we're not there yet. Okay, let's read one more quote on what he says. He says, "We just got a rough cut of a guy named Frank who served in the Pacific, and the story he tells about what he went through in the submarine service are just crazy," game director Peter Hirschman says. So again, we try to help it hit home that this really happened. These were 19-year-old kids, and often that's our target audience. So it's always good if we can build empathy and ignite people's imaginations. Then maybe they'll come away understanding the conflict a little more. Okay, not really talking about the violence there or the ultra-realistic or hyper-realistic or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, this is a real issue. This is something to think about, something to be concerned about. Now, oh, by the way, Zach LaFontaine. Yeah, thank you so much. A recent Patreon supporter, Zach LaFontaine. Really cool. All right, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. I am going to go back over to our Twitch standard setup here. That, of course, is our runner-up pick for the month, June 2019. That is Vader Immortal. But here's the thing. Speaking of violence, speaking of ultra-violence in VR, guess what? We've seen some new trailers. We've seen some new footage of The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. In fact, there's new gameplay footage that both Nathy and Virtual Reality Oasis, Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis, they've both done videos where they've given us a look at actual gameplay action of being in The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners and how visceral it really is, because it does look very visceral. And so what I did was I grabbed both of those videos, both Nathy's video and Mike's video, and I just grabbed a real short segment of both of them. It's only like about a minute and a half. And I thought we could take a look at this and then we can talk about it right afterwards. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to go to the full screen trailer. I'm going to pump this up a little bit, and we're going to check out a quick little sample of Nathy and Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis. This is only about a minute and a half. It's like a little trailer of them playing some footage from The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. It's coming out on January 23rd, probably the biggest banger of this month. I mean, it really looks like that. So let's go ahead and check this out. I'll be right back.
Oh! Sweet dreams. Oh, mine. Looks like someone else is also interested. Come at me! Home run! Look at you. What a beauty. That's gross. But I'm not going to complain. We found an axe and cigarettes that I sadly cannot smoke right now because, surprise, I don't have a lighter.
So we can test out some of the game's mechanics. So let's see. You can spin the knife round to hold it either way. Let's just go for it and take this dude out. Oh man. Ugh. You really have to pull the knife out. It gets proper stuck in their skulls. That's totally gross, but also totally awesome. So grab the axe with both hands and chop them in the head. Roger that. Oh, mate. I can actually pull him out. I can pull him out. Because his head is still stuck on my axe. That's crazy, man. How do I get my axe back? Ugh. That is so brutal. So brutal, but so awesome at the same time. Oh, mate.
Alrighty, yeah, so that is the clip that I wanted to show you guys real quick. A clip from Nathy. And you can see, look, grabbing the zombie's head and just like holding him at bay. You know, just holding the zombie at bay and then just taking your knife and And you know what's kind of really cool about this? See, I actually was a fan of The Walking Dead. I haven't watched the most recent couple of seasons, but I was for like 6 or 7 or 8. Like I watched the Negan, like some of the Negan stuff, but I didn't go all the way through the Negan stuff. But I did get up into the Negan episodes, and I saw like 1 season of Negan or whatever. And so I was a Walking Dead fan, and I remember watching that show, and I remember them like grabbing a zombie's head and then putting the knife in it, and like you could really feel, just watching the TV show, you could feel how visceral that was, and you thought, oh, that's really weird. And to think that I'm going to be able to do this virtually in just a matter of days here on January 23rd, I'm going to be able to do this, and like to be able to like push the head down and like get your knife out like that. Like how freaking cool is that? And then look at the way the bodies are reacting, the way they're kind of flopping down. It's like somebody grabbed a little bit of Arizona Sunshine and a little bit of Boneworks and like smacked it together and rubbed it up. And then we've got all this like inventory, crafting, all kinds of little things that you're finding on the ground, a lot of storage, scavenger stuff. Dude, this game is looking really nice. I love the part there too, where Mike, basically he had that axe in that zombie's head and then lifted it up and literally lifted the body right out of those tires and dropped it on the ground. And just the way the body kind of crumpled onto the ground and flip-flopped, like all of this looks really good. Another thing I like here too is on Nathy's video, I like the way he has that like picture-in-picture window where it's like a little vertical, like that looks pretty cool. I told Nathan that looks pretty sweet. And if I do another Let's Play, I'm probably going to do it that style. I think it looks kind of cool there. If you're not going to be green screen, that's probably the way to do it. So yeah, definitely go ahead and check out Nathan's channel. And of course, Virtual Reality Oasis, Mike's channel. They do have videos that go a lot longer. I didn't want to watch too much of it. I watched enough of it. I watched enough to know that I'm really going to like this game, and then I basically stopped. I didn't want to watch too much more because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, that looks good, and it's you know, hey, there's this violence that we're talking about. This is pretty visceral, you know. I don't believe I've done this in another VR game. I don't believe I've ever stuck a knife in someone's head quite to that level. The closest I can think of is Blade and Sorcery. And Blade and Sorcery, you do have these different knives and daggers that you can like stick into people's heads, and it like comes out here. And it looks really cool, but the thing is, the trailers, honestly, in my opinion, the trailers make it look way better than it really is, unless you're hitting slow motion at precisely the right time. But if you're playing full speed on Blade and Sorcery and you're just playing the game and you're not hitting slow motion and you're stabbing a knife in somebody's head, don't think it looks quite as cool as the way this looks. I think this does look really cool, and definitely really kind of liking what's going on here. Looking forward to Saints and Sinners, The Walking Dead. You know, this is freaking Skydance Interactive, ladies and gentlemen. Remember how much I liked, what was it called? Archangel. Yeah, Archangel. A lot of people criticized that game back in the days. A lot of people didn't really like Archangel very much because it was on rails. But the production value, man, Archangel is like a movie, the way the whole thing unravels. Like Skydance Interactive, these guys got legit talent. And I think we're about to see, I think everybody's going to realize just how talented this dev team is on January 23rd. The people that skipped out on Archangel and didn't give Archangel a chance, they're going to find out just how good those developers are. So we're definitely looking forward to that. But in terms of the question about realistic violence, you know, it's definitely a question. I'm going to go ahead and pop this on question of the day. So this is more for when this video ends up hitting YouTube, which I'll definitely bring this to YouTube. I'm going to have to like re-record this and then render it and all that and get it into YouTube, but it'll eventually get there, right? And so here's my question of the day. For those of you that are on YouTube later in the comments, go ahead and reply to this. My question is, how long is it going to take before we really do have a violence problem in VR? How long is it going to, or is it never going to happen? There's some people that think it's never going to happen. It's never a problem. And then some people think, yeah, it's going to be a problem, but it's 30 years away. We don't need to worry, not in our lifetime. We don't need to worry about this problem in our lifetime. Do you think it's 10 years away? Do you think it's 5 years away? Do you think it's already here? There might be some people that think it's already here. There might be some people that have been inside a particular VR game and thought that it's already out of control. It's already a little bit out of control. I don't know. You know, I don't know. Main Fan says never. Okay, so Main Fan is one of these never guys that thinks it's just never going to happen. Okay, so here's what Main Fan has to say. It's not going to make people want to commit acts of violence. Wait a minute. I didn't ask that. I didn't say that it's going to make people commit violence. I said, is it ever going to get to the point where it's too effing realistic? And I guess it's kind of related. It's kind of connected, because the idea is if it gets too effing realistic, and you're in there and you're doing it a lot, there's the worry of desensitization. There's the worry that you're going to be doing it every day in your video games, like slicing people up and dicing people up, that in real life you're going to have a knife and you're just going to accidentally do it. You're going to be like, oh shit, I've been playing so much of freaking Saints and Sinners, I did not mean to put that battle axe right into the middle of your cranium. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Judge, I didn't mean to do it. I was playing a lot of Saints and Sinners. It's not my fault. You know, people are going to use that excuse though. Okay, so MC Schwartz says, if you can't distinguish between video game violence and real violence, you probably shouldn't be playing video games or doing a lot of other things. Okay, here's the thing though, MC Schwartz. Here's the thing, man. Don't you believe that there will be a day when we can't distinguish real life and virtual? Don't you think there's going to be a day? Now, I believe this day is going to happen, at least visually and ears. Okay, your eyes and your ears. This is going to happen for your eyes and your ears, where I've said this a number of times already, but see this like wall, or see this scene that I'm looking at right here. Okay, I'm looking at this scene right here with my real eyeballs, right? I believe there's going to be a day where I could have a VR headset. I put it on, and it has the same thing that I'm seeing right now, whether I have it on or off. It's the exact same thing. And I believe there's going to be a day when I pop that VR headset down, and if it wasn't for the weight, if it wasn't for the weight of it or anything else, if there was no weight whatsoever, I believe there's going to be a day where you're not going to know the difference. Now, this is visual, okay? This is visual. And there's so many other senses that we have, right? And then there's audio. Now, audio is going to be harder. We were talking about audio last time. I don't think audio, Bobby Blackwolf alert. Okay, I don't think audio can actually be perfectly simulated with headphones. I just don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible with the Valve Index either, with having little speakers floating outside your ear. I don't think that's possible. I think you're going to have to be in a room that's going to have speakers all around the room, like 27 speakers, equal distance, same height. And the room, you know, it's going to have to be like really intelligent audio. At that point, maybe then they can actually perfectly simulate what you hear in your ears. But eventually, I think those things are going to happen. I eventually think we're going to have body tracking that's going to be very accurate, and it's going to track our bodies very well. So eventually, you know, MC Schwartz, what did he say here? Let me go back. He said, if you can't distinguish between video game violence and real violence, you probably shouldn't be playing video games or doing a lot of other things. But again, I believe there may be a day. Now, the hardest part is going to be like your touch and all of that. Heating, coldness, like there's going to be a lot. And then the whole it's going to have to be a room scale thing with a gigantic moving floor. You know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff we got to worry about here. So yeah, I mean, it's probably far away, but you know, it is one of those things. Okay, VR Spy Guy says, I don't think violence is a problem unless we are talking kids playing violent VR games. Well, you don't think like a 12-year-old is going to get his hands on this stuff, or a 9-year-old? You know, we're responsible adults, right? We're not going to put an 8-year-old into Saints and Sinners and have them like being like, yeah, right into this zombie's head, man. Oh yeah, this is awesome. Thanks so much, Dad. Yeah. Oh, now take me to kindergarten. Okay, we're not going to do that. Like, most of us aren't going to do that. But you know what? There are places where that is going to happen. 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds are going to be up in there. I guarantee you, there is going to be a 9-year-old somewhere on planet Earth that is going to play Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. I guarantee you. And right now, you know, it might not screw them up. And I mean, I don't know. Like, what is it really going to do? I don't know. We're going to have to figure this thing out. Okay, so let's take a look. Bobby Blackwolf. Bobby Blackwolf is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby, the Saints lost, so no worries there. And the Patriots, the dream has come true. Okay, so Bobby Blackwolf says, so the angle you should be looking at is that it's easier for a potential shooter to train in VR with room scale than it is for them to train with WASD and a mouse, an abstraction device. Yeah, that is true. That is absolutely true. Like if you wanted to prepare yourself for a freaking violent kind of a thing somewhere, yeah, if you were doing it in VR with room scale and, you know, everything was like life size and stuff, you could probably be prepared a little bit better. We're going to enter some weird times, folks. We're definitely going to enter some strange times. Bobby Blackwell says they can actually practice their aiming in VR with room scale. And that's not something easily practiced with a controller or a keyboard and a mouse. Gaming Science Teacher says, I'm not saying GTA 5 should be banned or taken off shelves. It just really irks me when parents are letting their 9-year-old play it. You know, yeah, but you know what? Let's think about the TV shows, folks. Think about like Game of Thrones and stuff. You know, I mean, there are certain things like, dude, no, think about Game of Thrones. All right, here's minor Game of Thrones spoilers. That was like kind of, I don't know, midway through Game of Thrones. So if you've never seen Game of Thrones and you're just starting Game of Thrones and all of that, you might not want to hear this part. But there was a scene, it was one of my favorite scenes ever in Game of Thrones. Okay, so let me paint the picture for you guys. So in Game of Thrones, there was this guy who was kind of a fancy guy. You know, he danced around and he swung his sword and he was like a real good swordsman. He was very fancy about it and really good, like hyper good, right? And then he fought this other guy that was like a giant behemoth guy that was not fancy, was not good at dancing around, but was just this big ass brute. And he had to fight for his life. And so the guy with the fancy sword was dancing around and doing stuff. And I was rooting for him, man. I thought he was going to win. Like he was a little guy, but he was doing, you know, he was doing these fancy moves. And I thought he was going to beat this big giant behemoth guy. The big giant behemoth got him, slammed into the ground, and basically just caved in dude's face. He caved in the guy's face, man. And you saw it in living color on HBO. And there's 7-year-olds that have seen that. I know there are. There's 7-year-olds that have seen that. So, you know, it's going to be weird, folks. It's going to be weird. I mean, but that type of stuff can happen. That type of stuff can happen, like with TV shows and all kinds of things. And then like weird-ass sexual things, too. I mean, think of the things that people are seeing. Like if you've got kids that are growing up, think of the stuff that they are seeing. Oh my goodness. Okay, so anyway, yeah, that's a whole lot of interesting discussion going on in chat right now here. Putin's mom says the Columbine guys used modded Doom. Main fan says, I'm not worried about adults practicing their aiming in VR, not in the least. Greg's VR says they had a timeout and plenty seconds on the clock and it wasn't even 4th down. Okay, talking some NFL action right there. Person says people with violent tendencies. Oh, here's the other side of the coin. This is the other side of the coin. Person, an interesting idea here. He's saying there's people out there that might have some violent tendencies and they can use VR as an outlet rather than actually doing it. So they can murder 5 neighborhood cats in VR without actually doing it in a real neighborhood. Have you guys ever seen this though? Like, have you ever heard of like some like animal mutilation? You know, that's the beginning of an effing serial killer. Like they better catch that guy soon or gal or whoever it is, because those people grow up to be serial killers. If you've done lots of studies on serial killers, a lot of them mutilated animals when they were little. There's some weird people out there in the world, man. I mean, what is it? You know, just the way it is, right? Greg's VR says, just like how Call of Duty doesn't turn people into mass shooters. The danger... No, I disagree, Greg's VR. I disagree, man. We can't in the same breath say, oh, I'm playing tennis in VR and it's so realistic. It's my real arm. I'm holding a real racket and it feels really realistic. The ball is hitting the racket. Oh, it's so amazingly realistic. Or I'm playing baseball in VR. I feel like I'm really holding a bat. Oh, I'm hitting the ball. It really feels real. We can't say that on one hand and then turn around and say, oh, no, it's not realistic. I'm shooting a gun, murdering people. No, it's not. You know, it's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. You know, you can't have it's either really realistic or it ain't really realistic. It can't be really realistic for tennis, but not really realistic for other stuff. You know what I mean? We're in VR now. It's 1-to-1. You know, it's first person. You're in the game. You know, you're looking at the ceiling, you're looking at the floor. I believe this is a real issue. This is a real issue we're going to have to deal with. Now, again, I want to repeat, I don't believe we're there yet. We're not there yet. But I don't think we can stick our head in the sand and pretend like this is not going to be an issue. I believe it really is. But anyway, that's pretty much it, folks. Damn, this is almost a 2-hour show. Talk about a bonus show, ladies and gentlemen. Damn near a bonus show, almost. Kind of crazy, right? Almost a bonus. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you one more time. Once again, thanks to our brand new Patreon supporter, Zach LaFontaine. Really good around the track. Really good around the track. Wasn't there a guy named LaFontaine that was like the greatest runner ever at one point or something? I thought I remember somebody named LaFontaine. Okay, but thank you, Zach LaFontaine, for joining the Patreon. And I also wanted to quickly thank Christian Olson, $20 PayPal donation. That was incredible. Really appreciate it. I'm not monetized on YouTube. It sucks. I am monetized on Twitch, though. So Twitch Prime time, baby. It's great. Love it. All right, but that's pretty much going to do it. Let me go ahead and get my little outro logo on the screen. That's basically going to do it for this episode of VR365. Definitely appreciate everybody showing up in chat. I do appreciate the fact that you guys have been patient and understanding for me delaying today's episode a number of hours. Wasn't really ready right away. But you know what? We were able to do a show. We got through all of this stuff that we were able to get through. We did our Game of the Month discussion for June 2019. Trover Saves the Universe, 1 June. And the runner-up, Vader Immortal. Next episode is going to be Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube. And I will be talking about the month of July. Is the month of July any good, or was it a complete and utter dud? We'll also be talking about any of the latest VR gaming news stories that crop up between now and then. And then the last thing I do want to say is, remember, folks, retweet the tweet that I tweeted out there about Pixel Ripped 1989 and To the Top. We've got to make a change, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to make a change. Look in the mirror and make a change. You are the man in the mirror. All right, folks. But I'll see you guys on Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube. See you guys then. All right, I'm out of here. Take it easy and later.